In this video, we are going to be talking about the IATF requirements related to process capability. So welcome back, Devin and Dawn. Dawn, what are the IATF requirements about process capability?
Okay, so there's a couple of requirements. So first of all, it's establishing capability of new processes. And then secondly, we're talking about maintaining and monitoring capability of existing processes.
Right, okay, and I believe that's in 9.1.1.1 in IATF.
Yeah.
That the organization has to establish the capability for new processes and maintain the capability for the existing processes. So to do that, Devin, what are the typical indices that organizations would use to monitor and report process capability?
So typically you're going to see CPK or PPK studies.
Right, okay, and yeah, from my experience, they're the two most used indices. I think there are others, but the two most used indices that we see used in automotive. So Dawn, for the listeners, in very simple terms then, what is the difference between CPK and PPK?
So CPK is estimating the capability of the process, whereas PPK is actual capability.
Right, okay. And yeah, so I think it's about the way that the standard deviation is calculated. You're right in the fact that CPK is estimating the standard deviation based upon the range, where with PPK we take every data point to calculate the true standard deviation, and we use that as an input into developing the process capability. And I think some customers now are moving towards specifying PPK for the initial process capability, but also the ongoing capability, because it does use that true standard deviation. Okay. Devin, in terms of acceptance criteria for process capability, what does IATF say about that?
So obviously your customer specific requirements are number one thing you're going to look at, as well as what your organization may define for acceptance criteria. I know people are familiar with different criteria. You hear the for PPK 1.67 is fit, but really you have to look at the customer specific requirements.
Right. Okay. And again, I think that's a key point that some auditors have those 1.33 CPK or 1.67 PPK in their mind. But for listeners, that is not specified in IATF. As Devin said, that could be in customer specific requirements or the capability defined by the organization. And why, Dawn, do you think in automotive then process capability is important? Why do you think the customers want to know the capability of the organization processes?
It gives them a prediction as to how capable the process is of producing conforming product, and that's what they're after at the end of the day.
Right, okay, yeah. So am I right in saying then the higher the process capability, the less chance there is of producing non-conforming product?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And I think I've heard the value that if we have a process capability of 1, then we're going to get 2,700 parts per million defect from that process.
Yeah.
And I don't think any vehicle manufacturer would accept that. So that's why the number is normally specified way above 1. Yeah, the higher the process capability, the less probability we have of getting non-conforming product from the process. So it's important that the organization understand that, they calculate and they report that to the customer as required by the customer part approval process. So let's summarize then. So in IATF 16949, there is a requirement for an organization to calculate capability for new processes, to monitor and maintain that capability for existing processes. The acceptance criteria for process capability is not specified in IATF 16949, but the organization has to understand any customer specific requirements, and whether they use CPK or PPK again will depend on any customer specific requirements.